Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 135 of A Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Alright, you might notice something new. I did chop off all my hair. I didn't mean for it to be this short, but you know when you tell them like, oh, cut like this and then it's wet and then they cut it and you're like, yeah, that's good. And then, yeah, it's short. Anyway, I'm not mad about it. It'll grow back. Hopefully it'll take a long time to get quite as long as it was. You could see it in pictures, but I mean, I'll flash one up here. Like, my hair was down to my butt and it was just too long. I was getting really heavy and it was kind of giving me headaches anytime I put it up. And so you know what? It's gone. Spring cleaning of your hair. Okay, so but I got, this is freshly done from I went yesterday, and so we'll see how it behaves when I actually wash it. Because he straightened it after, and I was like, oh yeah, of course it looks so shiny when he straightens it, but I don't straighten my hair. That's a little too much work for me. Anyway, if you're new here, hi, I got a haircut and my name is Megan. I'm a mostly knitter, sometimes crocheter, I spin yarn, and I just love all things yarn and fiber. I'm located in the Pacific Northwest, just north of Seattle, and I live with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, and my mom Cindy. And this is just a fiber diary, knitting diary, where I tell you about all the things I'm working on, spinning, finished, etc. Buying, that too. Someone told me my shelves look a little empty. That's funny. Don't forget, I have a huge paisley knit order coming, and also a big Witchfire fiber. I don't know which one's bigger. They're probably about the same size, and they're both very large, and they're both coming in the next few weeks. And so plus I go to Rose City this weekend, so don't worry everybody, yarn will be replenished. We'll talk about Rose City plans at the end. Okay, let's talk about all the new things, like the new object that I'm wearing today, which is my clay sweater. It is done. This is a pattern by Haley Smedley, who is Ozetta. This is the second time I've knit this. I did knit this for my sister-in-law in 2024, I think, out of DK weight, super bright. It's like this color, but on a superwash base called Flamingo. And that was really fun to make for her. And I tried it on afterwards, and I was like, not sure if I really loved it, because honestly, I'm not typically super drawn to Ozetta patterns. I do like the classicness of them, some of them, but like the style in which she styles them does not speak to me. A, they're all brown. B, she's really small and they just all look baggy on her, which is not like my vibe for wearing things. And also she doesn't put any pictures of any other any other makers on the pattern page, which, like, yes, I can go through the pattern photos, but I really appreciate the designers. Like, I think Amy Shure does this. I know Claire Jackson does this. I'm pretty sure. And like at least Wool and Pine has like 2 sizes that they make for most of their samples for at least like wearable things. And just like to see it on at least 2 body sizes, but like a plethora, all of the Chesters for Claire. And that's my favorite. Anyway, I'll get off that soapbox, but I wasn't sure if I would like it. And then I tried it on and I was like, oh, I do very much like it. So I made one for myself finally, and I did go rogue a little bit. Like I used worsted weight yarn instead of DK weight yarn. My stitch gauge is pretty on. It's actually like a little bit small, but I also did not stretch at all when I was blocking. And my row gauge is hilarious. So I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna show it to you, and then we can talk about it more. Sorry, I just bumped the camera, so hopefully we're back in the right place. Anywho, here it is. It's cute. The drop is droppy. The sleeves are cute, good length. I blocked this really late at night, and I wish I had taken a picture before, because they were very much like, well, they were like here, like right at an okay length, but I was like, oh, they grow a little bit, because I would prefer to have that a little like ½ inch extra, and it is, and it's great. And I did like look back at my pictures. Now that was superwash yarn, so I knew it was going to grow a little bit more, and so my row gauge being so off, I was like a little nervous. But anyway, I went by measurements and it's fine. It's overall super cute. This color is cute. I feel good. Like my face is not in the camera right now, but I do feel like this color is pretty flattering on me. It's like a nice icy blue, a little bit of gray undertone. You'll see, I didn't really even talk about this, but if you'll remember, the clay pattern has this line here because so that you don't see like the interruption in the stripe as you go, and I don't remember what side is the actual side in which you switch the pattern. It must be this side. You can see it, but like it looks more closely, you know, even having this like little fibby line down here. Don't worry, that's just like a little wet spot because I spilled tea on my way downstairs. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay, everybody. Here we are. Here's the back shoulder line. We have that beautiful little slope you create. Okay, there we go. Can you see it? Yeah, overall, I feel really pleased. Neckline is like pretty high, but it's not, I think her photo may have it like sit a little bit higher, which would just, I mean, I feel like you can always just tug that down a little bit. It is wide enough, and I prefer it to sit like this. Like, I think that feels better on me and like looks nicer. So, but overall, yeah, I think that the garter grew a little bit. It's a nice, it feels like a good hip length. Like my mid hip is like maybe like 1/4 inch underneath of that. So that's like a good spot for me. And then we'll talk measurements. All right. So I put my measurements in Ravelry, and I'll put pictures up. I am filming. I put this in the Discord, but did not obviously tell everybody. I am filming on Wednesday, March 4th at, 9 o'clock at night because Theo's asleep, and I figured it's this and doing some editing tonight to hopefully publish just after dinner time tomorrow, or I've got to, maybe I'll even do a little bit of editing during lunch. Then I may be able to publish a little bit earlier, but otherwise I won't be able to get to it until like late. If I filmed tomorrow morning, then I'd have to do all of the editing tomorrow night. And I need to get ready for roasted yarn crawl, which includes like, folding laundry, packing, because we're going to leave kind of early in the morning on Friday. So that's all blah. So I would really rather just get this out of the way so that I feel ready for the weekend. Plus, I wanted to give you guys a recap of what's going on. So let's go through the measurements. It is, the bust was supposed to be 51.5 inches. Again, I did not pin this to when I blocked it. I just laid it on my little OXO mat, and I was like, this is like approximately good enough. So it's 50.5 inches. Total length from shoulder is around 22 inches. And that's like, I think if I laid it like pretty flat and then from here on the shoulder, like right next to the collar and down, the total body length from underarm to hem is only 11 inches, which means that this is quite a big, I mean, again, you're going from here down, so that's like 11 inches too. And then my bicep is 16, cuff is 7, which is the same dimensions, I think, as my stripe height. It's just that the sleeves were longer. The sleeves on this are only 15.5 inches. And the stripe height had way long sleeves. So overall, I mean, like it's like I lost a half inch on this in width, but I have way shorter sleeves, but they fit not the same. There's definitely more space in those sleeves, and the stripe pipe is just next to me in my room. That's why I'm pointing. But if you go back to last week, but I think part of the difference is the way that this is constructed. They're both drop shoulders, but this has the back panel that like essentially gives you sort of short rows. So I think you get more of a drop, more of a visible drop too in your arms, and like the way that it sits. This does not have any cast on stitches underneath. I don't remember if the stripe pipe does either. I think it's like 4 or something, but this doesn't have any. So like just the way that it sits is a little bit different. And also then it doesn't need to be like you're not adding any volume here, so it's a little bit smaller, but the drop looks a little bit more significant. I think that's just like the way that it's constructed. Anyway, I think it's cute. The picture that I have flashed up here before was the picture of me tomorrow. The day that I'm publishing, but tomorrow for me now. I finished this last Friday because Maya brought my yarn that stowed away at her house or whatever, was abandoned at her house. It was really abandoned. It was my fault. To knit night on Friday at Emily's, and I like was working on something. I immediately put that down and I just worked on this until it was time to go. And then I came home and it was late, but I was very close to being done. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to finish. And so I just finished it, and then I went to bed. And that was a good choice because I wanted it to just be done. And then I washed it. I might have thrown it in the wash overnight. then. I don't remember, something like that. So I didn't take a picture, but I love it. I think it's great. I'm glad to get this one in my wardrobe. I've been thinking about it for almost 2 years. And so, hooray, now I have it. Okay, let's go over details. Sorry. This was an XL, so supposed to be 51.5 inches again. Did not stretch the block. Probably could have been whatever. My stitch gauge was pretty close too while I was like knitting what I figured was gauge. Except for my row gauge, which is like maybe like 3 or 4 rows off per 4 inches, which adds up pretty quickly when you have 22 inches, right? So I ended this, I think, almost an entire repeat earlier than like the pink one that I made. Like I just counted the front, like the number of like the textured sections on that one or something, and definitely a whole one early on the sleeves. So maybe most of one and then a whole one. Anyway, it was a lot. That's crazy. And so yeah, but everybody else, we were doing a clay knit along in my Discord, and there's a channel for it. And like everyone else also struggled with row gauge. A stitch gauge, not that hard. This is like, I think it's supposed to be 19 or 18 stitches in 4 inches for a size 5 needle DK, which I think is pretty standard, but I don't know how she got her row gauge. Who knows? Yeah, and this one took me just under a month to finish, so that's pretty good. It's the first of my Make 9. So I feel really good about that. Having a one Make 9 thing done. I would really like more than one done, but I chose some hard ones this year, and no cardigans. I don't think I have any cardigans on there. I had like 2 or 3 last year. And so I've saved myself from that, but I decided to like just, instead of cardigan, let's do a hard sweater, like the Birch and the Iris, which is the next one I'll cast on. So yeah, it's all right. And lastly for this, I want to do some rating. Yes, I've done this pattern before, so like we can get this out of the way really fast. First, I'm going to rate the actual pattern itself. I think the pattern itself for this is fine. It's nothing I'd like write home about. It's good. It works well. I do think there's like, I like the way that she explains like the back panel. Again, this is not a very complicated pattern. Yes, there's a texture, but doing a drop shoulder, like overall construction is pretty basic. Like do back panel, pick up, do fronts, collar, sleeves, done. But fine. So like maybe a 4 or something, like nothing stand out. I don't love the layout of Ozetta patterns. I'm pretty sure they're just like full page or something. Like I don't think there's columns in this one, and I just like visually don't love that, but like whatever, it's fine. I've obviously done it again, so I thought it was good enough. The making though, I felt pretty joyous about this make. I think it went pretty fast. I was a little bit worried about yarn, like on me. So like that, oh, we didn't even talk about that. That did worry me a little bit, and made me finish it, I think, a little bit faster than I might have otherwise. Plus I just wanted to get one Make 9 done. I needed to. I didn't weigh this yet, but I do probably have like 20 grams of yarn left. And I had 5 full skeins. So I thought I was going to be like 100 yards short, and I'm probably have, 40 or 50 yards left. So good. We're fine. It was okay. Let's move on to my other finished object for the week, which is someone you haven't seen in a while. And I didn't just pick her back up. I finished her. That's right. We're talking about Nanna, the lady duck. Isn't she cute? She did get a little bit of dog hair on her because I let Theo play with her after I finished her. I just stuffed her today. So because I'm filming after bedtime, while Mike was making dinner, and Theo and I were sitting on the couch, and I was like, do you want to help me stuff the duck? And she was like, yeah. So I like went and got the stuff, and her dress was done. I just didn't have her stuffed. She was drying, and I decided to dry the dress a different way than I did it last time, which was the right move. I'll tell you about it in a second, but you stuff them here. And so her like crotch was open. So I had Theo hand me like small tufts of polyfill, and I was sticking them in, and then I had her like stick some of them in too. And then I like asked her what parts to fill first, like her feet or her face. And so we were stuffing it together. And then after it was done, I just like gave it to her, let her play with it. Okay, so the way that I did the dress this time too is I picked colors that were kind of similar to like the picture, which is what my friend who this is for her second kid, and she just asked for this one, and she was like, I just want like kind of close to the picture colors, and I was like, okay. So it's what I did for Maya's, who's the person I gifted the first one to, that I made, like, I finished her during flock weekend or right before. Anyway, sorry, this is a pattern by Cynthia Valet from the book Moosh and Friends. And anyway, when I made this dress last time, I'm pretty sure I just made it all in one go, and then I blocked it, and like the bottom was really curling in. But the sides of this were kind of hard to sew together because they were also really curly. So this time, remembering that, I was like, I shall just finish the front and back and then soak it and then lay them out and pin it, which I had to pin, but like it was kind of hard to do pinning because there's like armholes and there's a little bit that's seamed and then there's a bit that's not seamed. And so I just laid them both flat, and they dried a lot faster. So they dried, and then I finished the collar and stuff. And I actually finished those, like, I gave myself like 15 minutes after work to do those before I went to go play with Theo. So I was like, I need to concentrate. But yeah, and then I knew, so I knew this was done, and I just needed to stuff her. And it took, the bodies take like a little bit longer to dry. I just like threw her on the Oxo mat after this was done drying. And I didn't like disturb her. I didn't like lay her, pin her, anything. And her wings don't get stuffed. They're just, you know, knit. And I mean, it didn't take that long. Maybe like 2 days. Oh, she's so cute. So last time you saw her, she was just a head. Now she's so much more. Look at her. She's a darling little baby. Okay, so let's talk about the details. I finished her to here, to the point where her sleeves needed to start. So I told you last week that I was going to pick her up and try to finish her before Rose City, because that's the pact that Emily and I made. And because I said this publicly, even though Emily, this is not her channel, this is my channel. I know some of you don't watch her and lots of her followers don't watch me. She was like, uh-oh, this is in the public now. I do have to finish. Because then I saw her on Friday, the next day after the podcast, and she was like, are we really going to try to finish our animals? Like, that's so fast. And I was like, oops, I said something on the podcast. And she goes, no, I have to. And I was like, no one's going to care if you don't. And she was like, no, this is good pressure. Now I'm going to do it. And so we've been texting each other all week. I did this part. I just have a leg left. I just have a whatever. So she was doing Horatio the donkey, and she finished his body right before I finished Nanna the Duck. And then she got his pants done before her dress was done. And I think she got like, I'm pretty sure they're like dungarees. They're like overalls. So she just had to do like the straps and overalls. And then I finished the dress like right around the same time. So we both finished, and they're perfect little dudes. Oh, here's her tail feathers. Her butt is so cute. She's just like so darling. What do I have to say about her? Anyway, so I got to the point of the sleeves of the arms or the wings. And then I did both of those pretty quickly. They honestly don't take very long. Like that was the mental block, because I was like, ugh, I don't want to do that. But she does such a clever thing, because you knit both of them the same, like with the same instructions. It's just like she flips where she has you start, but essentially you knit one feather, and then you cut a length of yarn, which is not very long. It's like 2 yards or something, like 3 yards. It's not a lot. But I did measure it because I wanted to make sure I had enough. And it was like, I mean, it was enough for both of them, but not a lot of extra. Like it wasn't like even a foot of extra. It was like 5 or 6 inches. And then you maybe like 8. I wasn't an uncomfortable amount, I guess. But you just like, because you close up the hole here, it's essentially like doing decreases for a hat or whatever. And then you stab your yarn through and pull all of that back out. And then you just restart the next little wing. And then you do it again. And so you don't have a bunch of cut ends. You have one at the end, and then you just like run it up and you secure it somewhere at the top. And then same with this one, although you have to join. And so you have the join end, and then you have the end. But that was like the big mental block. The rest of it is like pretty easy, even increases down. And then you get to like slightly more increases in the back. And then you do short rows to create the little butt, which is, it's a cute butt. It's a cute duck butt. And then you're just creating like a heel kind of. And then you knit down, you like create the short rows down to get to a leg, and you finish it, another leg, and you finish it, and then you're just left with a cross. Like, it's just such a genius, like how it's created. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be a knitwear designer ever, but I'm like, wow, if I could like think of cool things like that, that would be so fun to share. Anyway, I'm glad to do them. I like to try new methods and do different things. Yes, I've already done this duck, but like still, it's so mind-blowing, all the different ways that she creates the animals. And so I'm going to create another animal for Theo pretty soon. I just have to get over myself and do it. Just cast it on and do it. I mean, really, you can finish it in basically a week if you just put your mind to it. It's just that not like I didn't do any other knitting, but I definitely knit more on this than other things this week. So anyway, here's Nanna the Duck. Okay, now we shall move on. I'll do a quick spin update now because it's right here. And that is that I have started a spin finally. This doesn't look like, this kind of looks like a pukey color, but it's really pretty, I swear. It's just that the last piece that I was doing is this like weedy, like yellowy green color. What I'm spinning is this beauty. And this is Wildflowers, I'm pretty sure is the color, from Paisley Knits' Year of Fiber last year, which was called Nature's Palette. And they were all different types. I got like the wool like box or whatever. So I got a quarterly. I got 3 skeins. If you'll remember, if you weren't here, then I'm just telling you really quick. I got 3 skeins every quarter. And they were like based off of some inspiration of like some nature color. Like some picture of nature. I don't know where the one for this went, but I'm pretty sure this is like 100% finish wool. I will confirm next week. I'll find the little tag. I don't know where it went, but I think this one, I did this one first because I knew that this would be maybe like not the least pleasant, but it's the least familiar. And so I wanted to do something with it. Now I decided, I mean, not entirely, right? Like I'm not saying I'm not going to combo spin any of them, but I'm not trying to use these in all one project. So I'm going to just spin them however I want with no worries about any plans. So I've got 12 of them. And some of them are like more similar fibers, so like might be a really nice combo spin. This one, because it is the most different, I wanted to just see what it was like. And so I am going to do this one next week when I'm back from Rose City, and I will then just do a 2-ply. And I just split it. I don't think, because of the way this is dyed too, so let me just show you. In any given like section, there's like several colors. So I actually might just spin this, and normally I'll do like a little knot on the side that I start on the other like strands that I have, or separated strands, so I know. And I could do this, the other thing I was thinking is that there's like a good split here to do this as a 2, so like a 1-2 fractal. But there's just so much color. It's not like, these are not big color changes. There's a ton of tiny color changes. So I just don't think it would matter if I just spin this end to end again, regardless of which end I start with, and then spin them together. So I'm undecided. If you guys have thoughts or opinions, let me know. But this one was quite interesting to work with. Let me just show you. I'll just pull a little bit out here. The staple length is not super long, but you can see it's like really, really crimpy. And it's like a little bit chaotic, and it feels a little bit more sticky, like, I mean, a lot more sticky than like a Rambouillet, which also has like a lot of crimp. So does a Merino. And it also feels like it's definitely coarser. I think this is listed as one of the coarser ones from this year, but it feels like it's like, to pre-draft it, like you really have to like try. And I did pre-draft this because I was like, I'm not fighting with this. Like I just did a little to see. It's like, I'm not fighting with this to draft it. But once I'm spinning it, it feels quite smooth. Once you give it some air, it feels really smooth and nice. And so it's been spinning fine. So it was a good one to start with, just to try something different. Oh, here it is. This is called Wildflowers. Yeah, 100% finished spinning fiber, 23 micron, which is still like, it's soft. It's just, you know, I spin with some like 18 or 19 micron. Like it does feel not as soft as that. Yeah, but I'm really interested. Plus this one is much more compacted. Like, I don't know if you'll remember, it was a kind of a small braid. like tighter braid than some of these ones, which I'll just like pull one out. This is another one from Paisleyness. This is Dahlia's. This is like one of the summer ones, I think. Anyway, this is Punta Arenas, but this is like much floofier and like a normal size braid. That one was like a really tight, small braid. So anyway, not that that matters, but try new things. And hopefully I'll have this been like done and washed and stuff so we can see how it blooms and everything next week. Okay, so the next thing we should talk about is my Stella quilt blanket, which I have completed 3 and a little bit because of squares. So this is square number 4, like big square number 4, and I did half of this one, so 1 and 2 last week. I added the light color, I added another plain square, and then I started this one and I just didn't get around to finishing it. Now, this is a pattern by Laura Penrose. I am making the large throw size, and so I'm supposed to have 12 of these. Dimension-wise, I'm on. I just like, it's so big in reality. I'm like, wow, is that going to be like the biggest blanket ever? I don't know. Maybe I just do it anyway because I have enough yarn. I will need to get more main color, but like mostly for the border and like maybe 2 squares. So it's fine. Anywho, I've been playing around with the idea of not doing it in 4 rows consecutively because when I get bored with the last row. So there's no way around getting the last and first squares have to be the solids because that's just like the order of how you have to do it because you're joining always if you're looking at it like from the right. But I could do 3 and then 2 or 3 across, and then that like one of the boring squares, so I just get one of them out of the way while I'm still playing with the fun colors, and then do more of them, or just like, it doesn't matter, I could just do it any way I want. I could just build up a little bit and then go over. I think that the reason you don't do that necessarily is because it probably gets a little bit floppy and weird if you've got some squares done up here and then you're building along the side. But I might need to switch it up a little bit just to keep it interesting. But so far, I mean, I'm still having fun doing it, and this is square 4. I mean, talk to me when we get to 8, right? But this is the greens. So I'm still working through it. I will take this to Rose City because this is really good, like just couch time. And I have a small bag for the greens already set aside. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm going to pack knitting things and then we'll kind of see how many is too many. The answer is like, it doesn't matter. I just shove them all where I'm taking my car. I can shove as much as I want in there, but you know, what will I actually work on? I guess that's also the question. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is my Birch. And just because I haven't shown it to you in a while, and no, I do not have a lot of progress because, again, some of these other things have been getting precedence. I am going to bring it. However, I did work on it at Knit Night a little bit before the yarn for this came. But I worked on this during our craft chat this past week, and I got a good amount done then. So this is my Birch pullover by Andrew Mowry. This is my first make 9 that I just, I need to eventually get more done on. I don't know what the front and back is. I think this is the front. Anywho, I did not really show you at all, I think, since I started sleeves. So I started this sleeve over here, which has 2 or 3 decreases. And then I have this sleeve over here that only has like 1. And so, no, it's not a lot of rows, but I did start the sleeves. I do have a good amount of the body done. So I just need to like go on the sleeves for this. And like, my friend Katie, who watches the podcast, hi Katie, she is in my knit group, and we have talked about this principle before where sometimes you need to like, some of these longer term projects too, you're like, oh, just put a row or 2 on. But like to really see progress, you need to work on it for several hours in a row to like see it more quickly. Some projects, I don't care. Like the squares on the Stella quilt, I could just do 1 square. It takes me a little bit over an hour or about an hour. Not mad about that. That's fine. Then I can move on to other things. These sleeves are the one that I think I need to do. And Katie says this is what we talked about last year to get through some projects where the ones where you like mentally feel like you're just not making any progress. 4 hours. You need to spend 4 hours on it. So I don't do this for all projects. I definitely flip between things back and forth, but this is one where I really think I need like a 4-hour time block on just one sleeve, not even switching between sleeves, just one sleeve to see like substantial growth. Now, if I only see like 1.5 inches of growth in 4 hours, I might cry. And then I'll continue later. But I do think in 4 hours, I would see like a good amount of sleeve. Like if it's only 3 or 4 inches, it's still 3 inches I didn't have. So it's a thing. It's a thing I'm thinking about doing like next week, just like spending time knitting this because I want to wear it. I love the color. I'm obsessed. I think it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so squishy, and I want to have this in like the spring. We have a long time of transitional, like being able to wear like fingering weight sweaters here in the Pacific Northwest, and so I would love to have this be one of them for me. This is by Andrew Mallory. I think I said that. So, and this is just size 4, which is 45 inches. So yeah, I did though swap around some of the balls of yarn. So I used till where I was on this sleeve. I like knit all of that, and then I moved that ball of yarn over to here to start the sleeve. And that was what was my, like the darker part of my yoke. And so I just wanted the sleeves. I didn't want just like a line on both of them, right? And now I moved on to the ball that was attached to the body. So like did a pretty good amount of this body with a ball, and that one is now attached to this sleeve. And then I'll do a while and then I'll go to this sleeve, and I'll move that same ball of yarn over. So the sleeves are like got 5 or 6 inches in the same. That's the body, because I have some lighter skeins, and then the lighter skeins will go same way where I'll split them between the body and the sleeves, which is a little bit of madness. But also I think this one, I'm not going to knit it again really soon. And so I want it to be like really good. And there's some color things I don't care about. There's a little bit of a darker line like right here, but that's fine. I just don't want like the sleeves and body to be like totally whacked. So like, cause if I had just waited and done the body and then done the sleeves with the lighter skeins, I think that would look kind of strange. Okay, that's all. Let's move on to my sample. And so this is a sample knit for an upcoming pattern by Wool and Pine Design. So I'm sort of doing a test knit for them, but giving them a second sample so they can continue designing other things, which is super fun. And so this is called the 3-Season Tee. And I'm really loving how it's coming. The color is called Bourbon, and this is by 29 Bridge Studios. And in their like, gosh, I don't remember what the base is called, but it's like their natural fingering. And it's a 2-ply, and it's 100% non-superwash. Okay, it's gorgeous. It's lovely. The fronts were done last time. The back was like just joined, and so I've done quite a lot of the back. Now I have like maybe 12 or 14 rows left, and then I'm going to join for the body, and I still want to have that done before Rose City, but I have 2 days or a day. I have a day to do that. I'm actually probably going to go do that while I'm editing a little bit tonight. And so this is where I was, little stitch marker. That's Washington from Denim and Rain, which is so cute. And then put the cables on this here. Let's just give some love to this back panel because it's so nice. It's like, these cables are so fun and gorgeous. This lace is really beautiful. And I told you I was going to do some color swapping so that there's not like a distinct line when I join the front ball, which is going to be a little bit darker. So I've done 2 like short, you know, color A, color B, color A, color B, like 2 rows each, right? Cause I'm knitting flat. And then B. And now I've just started doing B, C, and C is actually what I use for my front skein. B looks very close to C when knit up. So I'm hoping what I can do is I can join skein C, which is what I use for the front, because Abbye did ask to like, just make sure there's no line right at the bust. So skein C, which is actually my smallest skein. I mean, it's not like, I'm not going to run out right now, but I'm going to do maybe like, I think I have like 12 or 14 rows left. And so I think I'm going to just swap almost all the way until I get, maybe just do like the last 4 rows of the back just in this. And then I'll join the body together, and then I will use this skein until it's nearly done. And then I will go back to B, the one that was much closer, and do a couple of rows of change potentially. And then knit with B down through the rest of the body. And I might also stop and do the collar with that one, because that one I think will be closest to both the front and back. Like, it's a good, very, very close to the front color. And then we'll worry about it after that. But I'm not going to be fussed. And I don't think they will be either. This is, yes, a sample for them, but also I didn't dye the yarn. I'm going to do my best here. But this is a size 6. It's 52 inches. So lovely. I'll be able to try this one on. No, this is not a me color. It doesn't look terrible, but like, it's just so warm. And you know, it's fine. Just makes me look like really red. Look at that. Anyway, so I'm excited though. I'm excited to get this in the round. I think that will be like nice, because there's a lot of purling in the lace right now. And because I purl with a pin, not that it's anything, it's fine, but I think it'll go faster when it's in the round, which is crazy because that's going to be like a lot of stitches, obviously, but I think it'll be fine. And this natural fingering has like that little, like, just as you're working, it's getting like a little bit of a halo. It's going to be so beautiful. It's gonna be so glowy for their pictures. Abbye takes the best pictures. She like really is a photographer, and they're just like always, they pick like the best scenery, and it's, I can't wait to see this one. Get like a photo shoot. That's so fun. Okay. The next and last thing to talk about is the change in plans. Well, it's not even a change in plans, but Emily and I did not cast the flare on Friday because we got together. We're talking about these little animals to get done. We both just wanted them out of our queue. And then we both bought the pattern and we go to cast on. And then Emily was like, wait, but there's like 2 other things I want to cast on soon. So we're talking through plans, and she was feeling a little overwhelmed. And one of the things that she wanted to cast on was I guess it's a DK weight sweater, but it was a sweater. And she was like, I'm not like totally ready for all the tees yet. And so we made a pact to revisit Fleur in a couple, like maybe a month or 2. And so instead we both made plans for something else. So she cast on it's a stripe thing, during knit night, and I finalized some plans for my iris sweater, which I'm going to talk about now, even though I do have one more whip to talk about, because I will also be taking this yarn, which is Ebb, to Rose City to cast on something together with everybody, because now we all have our yarn. But I made some Ebb plans, and I did wind all the yarn, like not this. I have like 7 skeins of this. I already have a bunch of them wound up, but this is the background color I'll be using. Then you've got like ground / snow colors, and I shall be using a combo of, you guys, this is cool tone. I'm doing it cool toned. A combo of these for the ground. And so I'm not doing completely to the chart. I've recharted it for myself. These be the leaves. I think I have 1 less color overall, because there's like or like she has the ground go up into the leaf, and then or into the stem, and then the stem starts, and then whatever. Leaves maybe have 2 colors. I don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do the flower and the stem separately. And then these will be my flower colors. All of those are wound up and ready to go. And I may take that to Rose City. That sounds a little bit crazy, so I might just pause, make some more progress on other things, and then take that with me, or like start that on Monday, because I am taking Monday off to kind of like reassess life after I get back from Rose City, which means I'll do some knitting admin. Like I'll intake all of the yarn that I purchased. I will also probably like just like clean up my office, but then also like do, again, laundry. Why do you guys do laundry so much? Go grocery shopping, etc., etc. Do like mom life, which is just when you miss a weekend. Not that my husband does not help a ton. He does, but he's also like gonna be sole baby care. Like we really try to give my mom the weekends off all the time because she's with her all week long. And we want to spend the time with her, but it's hard to do chores when you have a 3-year-old. Sometimes she's awesome. She loves to go to Costco with Mike, but other days, oh, it's hard. Okay. I mean, toddlers, you know how it is. Okay. Let's go through what I did cast on, which is my Summer Stripes tee from Claire Jackson. This is the test knit that I could not remember the name of last week. And I just got some feedback from some of you. And also I just made a decision based on my own feelings for what color I wanted to cast on. And I did think, so I was leaning more towards Don't Blame Me, which if you'll remember, is this color. And it's just, it's so gorgeous. It's super floppy. I think it's gonna be really nice. But I decided against it only because I know I'm gonna cast this on right now. And I just know, like, in my brain, even if they're gonna look totally different as objects, I maybe want them not to be on the needles at the same time. And because it's just like the timing of things, I'm just gonna save this for another project, and that's okay. That's fine. That's life. I'm not mad about it. Instead, I actually went with what I thought would be like just the most exciting. Yes, it's mostly merino. I think this is an 85-15, but it'll be fine. This is the Lover Addie's version from Ruby and Roses, and this is my cast on. Now let's talk about this. These skeins look so different. The whole skein's like this. It's really crazy because when I was winding these, I put them both on the Swift, and I didn't think they looked that different. I did think this one looked maybe just a tad lighter, but they, like, the whole way are, this one is just so much lighter on the flex. And I wonder if some of the inside is going to be a little bit more saturated in flex. And that's fine then, because then I'll be probably less saturated in flex, like just how they laid in the pan, right? On the inside of this. And then maybe the outside. I don't know. I could not tell you what's going on here, but they look crazy different. So I looked through the pattern and I was like, can I helically knit this whole thing? Is that possible? Now, you know, short rows can make that really hard and other things. You can still do it. It's just harder. If you have questions about how to do it and helically knit in short rows, Kate from Catesville Knits, I think is her Instagram, has a really good reel on how to do it. But basically you have to do a swap somewhere in the middle of the short row. Like you can, and it's not really helically knitting. It's just like swapping your yarn. So you're still using two skeins. But anyway, what I decided to, when I looked at the pattern, I was like, ah, yes, this is a contiguous construction, which means, and the way that we're doing it on this one is that there are no short rows. There are just build rows. So you are just making one throughout in various ways in various places to create the faux saddle shoulder look, and the neckline. This is like a square scoop neckline, so it's pretty modest square still. It's like here. So when I looked through it, I was like, ah, yes, I'm actually really close to the join rows, and so there is no worry for me with just doing this helically. This is a great contender for this too, because it's stockinette. The pattern I had tagged for this yarn was the Juno top by Vare Knits, and I was like, that would be such a pain to helically knit because you're doing pattern, like the whole thing is in like a texture, and that would be like, just, it's possible to do, but it's just much more thought than to helically knit otherwise. And I think it's looking really good so far. There's going to be some of these like more white spots just because of the way that the yarn is like half white. It's like how she dyed this was she laid it in the pan and then she flecked the top and she didn't fleck the bottom. I mean, that's really truly, when I opened the skein, both of them were like flecks on one side, none on the other, which is fine. I mean, I don't really care, but it's just like, I think it'll change throughout if like there's these like little travels, but because half the skein is speckled, you also get a really long run of speckles when you have them. So like this, you know, this was like 2 rows ago. I had, you know, 15 or 20 stitches of speckles, not little tiny ones. So this will be an interesting look, but I'm kind of excited for it. And I am going to use this, and I think I'm going to borrow from the Fleur. Even though I didn't cast it on, I'm pretty confident I have like way more than enough yarn for that. And I'm not using a lot. It's like 36 yards or something. So I'm going to just risk it. And use the 2 colors for this. I'm at least going to try it. And if I don't like the blue also, like it just feels like too much, then I'll just do the pink, which is fine. So we'll see how it goes. So I should be joining the round before I leave for Rose City, which is what I wanted, because I did want at least one like really just stockinette easy thing. Plus I'll see Claire when I'm there. so then I can show her the progress. But yeah, so I already have my saddle shoulder bit here. This is a little bit like of a closer fitting one, so this will fit here. And then I'm already starting some of the sleeve increases, and then when I join, it'll be sleeve increases. This one has folded stockinette edgings, so it should be a little bit classy. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. So, and I'm making a size 5, which is a 44-inch upper bust. I don't remember. I think it's upper bust measurement is what 44 inches is. But anyway, there's always room for some increases after you split for sleeves in her patterns, which like she typically doesn't have super deep raglans or, you know, like arm side. So you can then do some increases after. And that's also this pattern has the whole like how to do bust short rows and also like darts, you know, so like you can add stitches on the side of your bust, or you can just bust shaping, right? Or you can create like the line also. I think with this yarn, I feel a little bit hesitant to create like the horizontal bust shaping, but I might do a little bit of vertical bust shaping. So is that right? Whichever way. So I just get maybe like increase a couple and then decrease a couple out so that I get a little bit more space in the bust and how it lays, and then have it a little bit smaller and closer in the tummy. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how I feel when I get there. I could also feel lazy and just want to do it straight. And it really just, I mean, I typically like to do bust shaping, especially with something that's a little closer fitted, because I do think it changes how it fits on you. And then you don't get that little like bell in the front, which is not flattering for me and my like body shape, and also like how I wear things. I just don't love it. So yes, that's where we are. My two, not closely related skeins. There's cousins. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, overall, when the flecks are there, they look really similar, but I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to choose to not be worried about it. I'm loving the color so far. It's very fun. And that white is very white. It's not like a yellowy white, so I'm also liking that. And by the way, that is the soft rose. Yeah, so 85.15, 437 yards, 400 grams. So overall, yeah, I'm excited. Okay, let's go on to books. And then so cast on plans this weekend. I will definitely cast on my ebb knit, which is going to be a checker plate tee from Lily Kate Makes. This is like, I was obsessed with the idea as soon as I saw the tee version of it, which is like a lace version of the textured sweater knit, which I made as a sample last year and loved and got yarn for this year. I'm excited to make both versions of that. I bought the tee like maybe right when it came out, or maybe it was during her advent sale. I don't know. But I'm really excited to cast that one on. I think I'll wait. Sometimes I like, we're like, oh, let's cast on together. But like, I need to focus in the first like 2 pages of a pattern, because I'm like, I need to know what's going on, or I'm gonna mess something up. And like messing up at the start is the worst. But we're like pretty good about like, maybe we'll take a little bit of quiet time to cast on, and then we start chatting more. We'll see how everybody feels. We are picking up a large order for another color matching knit, which I'll share about next week. But I picked a yard store, and I got us the yarn down in Oregon. So that's exciting. And then whatever else I buy. Let's go on to books, and then we'll talk about plans. So I read 3 books this week. The other book I started this week, actually, though, I didn't finish, and I'll talk about it next week, is The Will of the Many by James Islington. And it's intense. And so I feel like I gave that one quite a lot of time this week still, but we'll go over what I actually did read. I finished number 4 of the Flame and Thorns books by Marion Blackwood. This is the Fae Dragon Shifter Star-Crossed Lovers, whatever. This one's called Realm of Wind and Vines. I didn't love it. I didn't really love the last one either, and I didn't love this one even more, I think. Let me see. Yeah, this is an even lower rating than the last one. Last one I gave 3.65, which is not terrible. It was like an okay, like I got through it and it was fine. This one I gave overall 3.4. Plot, 3.5. Enjoyment, 3.5. Artistry, 3.5. Characters, 3.5. I honestly almost want to make that a 3 because it was whatever. Heart, 3. The real issue here was that this is a 4th book, and the level of angst in this book was like so much. I just like wanted to hit my head against the wall. I was like, why am I reading this? Because I want to know what happens, and I want them to be in love, and I don't want them to have this awful thing that had happened. And it was truly awful, and it made me feel like sad the whole time for them. So it was like good angst maybe. It wasn't just like, ugh, you just don't know how to talk to each other. Like, this is a little bit like outside interference, personality change kind of thing. And it was just so, and like everybody was frustrated about it. So it just felt like a long time of people being like mad and frustrated about it. And the other thing that really got me for this is like, we're in the 4th book and we have yet to have these people, this whole group of rebels or whatever, like one up the bad guys. And I feel so annoyed by that. Like, what? You literally can't ever pull one over on them. Like, it just feels kind of hopeless. Okay, there's gonna be another book. Will I read it? That's really debatable. That one's gonna come out, question mark, I don't know when. And if it's more than like 5 or 6 months, I probably won't pick it up, to be quite honest. I might just read it to see what happens. I'm okay with that. That's all right. Okay, the next books I read though, I loved. So the second one was one that has been like showing up and available from the library a lot. Like, sometimes I search for available now. I do have a list of TBR in the library queue, but like, you know, if it's not speaking to me, and what I don't have on the TBR queue is like very many like modern romances. And so sometimes I'm like, I just want to read about people falling in love with in life. Tell me what those books are. This one shows up on the list sometimes as available, and I just haven't borrowed it. And I don't know why. I don't know why I waited. You should not wait. Go read this book. It's called Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. And if you don't know, Julia Whalen is a very famous audiobook reader. She's read lots of audiobooks. Let me look up some of her best known ones. And she's so fantastic. Let me tell you some of the books that she's read. Some of these are going to go cross category so you can know some of the most popular ones. All right. The Women by Kristen Hanna. Also by Kristen Hanna, The Great Alone. I did listen to her read this one, and it was so good. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The 4 Winds by Kristen Hanna. There's obviously some that she just like reads these authors. Part of Your World by Abbye Jimenez. I loved her narration of this one also. Julia Whalen does some of the best dual narration by herself. Her male voices are good. They're not like gimmicky or weird or have to have an accent or anything. They're just good. She can distinguish small characters with their own cadence of speaking, and she's a rock star. She's so good. She's written 3 books. There's just all of them. Okay, all of the books. She's done all of the books. She's written three or more books. My Oxford Year, this book, Thank You for Listening, and then the next one I read, which is called Cassanova LLC. Let's talk about those 2. So Thank You for Listening is a book about an artist. This is like writers writing about writers, right? Writers love to write about writers. I also love to read about writers, so I'm all in for it. But this is, she's a writer, obviously. She wrote a book, but also she's known for being an audiobook narrator, and a very good one. She's writing a book about an audiobook narrator. Now, this is not a life, like book art mimics life or whatever. She like has a whole thing in the back about like, I know people are going to ask me like, no, this is not my story. Obviously she borrowed some things from her life because those are the things she knows. People say you should write what you know. Obviously you're going to take parts and pieces. You're not just going to like, it's not a memoir. Okay. But, it's crazy. This book was so good. Just so good. Okay. What did I give it ratings? Let me tell you. 4.7 overall. So that's really high. Just for romance too, I feel like I don't rate those as highly. Plot 4.5. There were like a couple of pieces, not even that I didn't like, but I do feel like some of the pacing was like a little bit erratic, but like not, that's being nitpicky. Overall, I thought it was like very entertaining. The plot was a little bit fresh because like, how often do you read about the narrators? It's just like the struggle of that. There's also she brings in the whole thing about how like idolize the male narrators are. And like, I don't actually know if this is true because I've never even like ever looked up like Teddy Hamilton. Is that his real name? It could be a pseudonym. If I were him, I would make it a pseudonym because he reads like sexy books. And like, if he wants to be married or a dad or like just be in life without people like bombarding him, like maybe that's a thing. But anyway, part of this starts as like, she goes and speaks on a panel and like most of the male narrators are like pseudonyms, and they don't come to these things because they don't want to be known by that, because like they want to appear however they want to, like their voice maybe makes people expect them to look a certain way, and like they just want to, like, you know, keep the mystery or whatever, which I appreciate. I mean, there's something about them being in your ear and being different characters that I just want to imagine them, they're the character in the way that they're described. I don't need to know what they look like in real life. Do you know what I mean? And like that's part of the art of this, right? Like their voices transform the characters into like something that's more alive in your imagination. I think audiobook narration is, obviously, it's a thing I love and care very deeply about. And I do think like, this, like, it's such an art to really do it well, to have the right expressions and stuff. And I do listen to them very fast. I know people have opinions about that versus like, that's not the speed that they do it, but like I'll slow it down sometimes for certain things. And like there was a song at the end of Cassanova LLC, which like, I'm not gonna tell you why, but there's a song and I slow that down all the way to the regular pace so I could listen to it as it was supposed to be, and it was great. Okay. Now, in the book, Thank You for Listening, part of it is that she is narrating a book. Obviously that's her job, but there's like a reason why this book is so important. And she at some point challenged herself to write the actual book, and that's Cassanova LLC. So it became a book. So the book that they read in Thank You for Listening is Cassanova LLC. Both written by Julia Whalen, though you'll see if you ever read Cassanova LLC, it says June French and Julia Whalen, because June French is the author, like the fake author inside of Thank You for Listening. But she says there's so much about the personality and June's reasoning for writing the story that she felt like June was the co-author on that book, which I just like think is so cute. And I was talking to Mike about this, and he's like, books inside of books is crazy. And I was like, I know, but it was very fun. Okay, so let me give you the rating for Thank You for Listening. Anyway, audiobook narrator, something in her life made her turn. She had to pivot from acting to audiobook narrating. So she takes this seriously, and she is like, let's call her Julia Whalen talent, right? So like, you know, she reads with emotion and she can do all the voices and she's so good. Then we've got the main male character who is got the voice, but maybe not the care. And he is anonymous, and he's like the great mystery, and he's got a big fan base, and they read this book together. And then obviously they start building a, you know, relationship about, you know, going over the story and stuff, and also other things, just other things. I'm not going to tell you. It was good. I think you should read it. Okay. Now the book they're reading together is called Cassanova LLC, and Cassanova LLC is like sort of silly, but also like it was still so good, and I really liked it. Oh wait, sorry, ratings for Thank You for Listening. Overall 4.7, plot 4.5, enjoyment 5. I like, seriously, I couldn't put it down. I was like having such a great time. Artistry 4.5. I mean, this is not like the best written thing, but I do think she captures a lot of emotion, and maybe it's because she's an audiobook reader and she like wrote it with the intention. She read the whole book. She didn't have, it was not dual narration, but like, I don't know, maybe it was just like knowing that was going to be the format, like that format was so good for this. It was great. Perfect. Loved it. Characters 5, heart 4.5. I will think about this. I will recommend this one like a lot to a lot of people. So far, one of my favorite romances from 2026. And I know we're just in the first quarter, but like, I feel like I can say that so far. So good. Okay, Cassanova LLC. Not as good, but still very fun. And only because the plot was like slightly less interesting, and the characters, not that they didn't have any depth, but they felt like foils for the other book, which made sense in why she wrote it that way, but just not quite as strong and intricate as the other one. So this one, plot 4, enjoyment 4, artistry 4.25, characters a 4, and only because I was like a little bit frustrated with both of the main characters and like some of their choices and their hangups, which like obviously everyone's gonna have hangups. That's part of reading fiction and romances, is like the hangup is part of the issue usually. But I felt like she grew in a great way, and I felt like he just was like waffling a lot in just like so like a single-minded pursuit. And I also feel like a couple of the side characters, mostly her late husband, which is like a big part of the story, I like just didn't understand him as a character. And like maybe you're not supposed to, because he was like a like a rich, not nice man. But it just felt like they kind of explained it, but like I was like, what did she see in him? Okay, that was all. That's really all. Okay, but anyway, characters of 4 and then heart 4. Still good. I would still recommend you read it. I think if you really like Thank You for Listening, I would read them in this order. And don't, like, I started to listen to the foreword of Cassanova LLC to be like, which one should I do? And she starts talking about Thank You for Listening, and I was like, nope, I think I need to read that one first and then read this one. And I think that was the right order. And maybe you've done it differently and you can let me know how the experience was. But if you are interested in reading her books because you like the way that she narrates both of her books. Cassanova LLC is a true dual narration, but they're both good, really good. And I will probably read my Oxford Year, maybe this year or later. But yeah, had fun with it. Okay, let's have a really quick chat about Rose City Yarn Crawl. So I would still love to know if you're coming. There's only a couple people who've responded below, and I know there's like some of y'all just, I know that you'll be there and I'll see you, but I am really excited to go. We are leaving early-ish on Friday. We're going to wait for a little bit of the morning rush to die down here, and hopefully not hit any lunch rush until like right around when we get to Portland. And I think the only plan is that we'll hit Hook and Needle first, and which is in Vancouver, so just across the bridge. And then we will, I don't know, skip around. I don't know that we picked as many like featured dyers like at on Fridays days, like Friday places. So I'll look at the list again. I think Sylvan put it together for like, here's who we might want to see at different places. But I think that like overall, probably everybody wants to hit all the places between Saturday and Sunday, but most of our group is not coming down until after work on Friday. So they won't be there. So Sylvan, Ariel, and I will hit at least probably 4 or 5 places on Friday, and just like maybe kind of we'll take it like pretty easy, but I don't think we can get to our Airbnb until like 4 anyway. So we have like 4 hours to like shop and have lunch and do some other stuff. So that sounds fun. I'm really excited. And then, yeah, and then I think we'll hit like, I think there's 9 places in the crawl or something like that. So we'll hit all of them between those other 2 days, and then we'll come home. We'll make sure there's bubble tea involved probably, and some good TV and hanging out at our house. We always do an Airbnb for this and hang out. Sometimes we'll go to like I know Caitlin, who lives in the Portland area, who I met actually at Knotty Lamb during the first year I was at Rose City. I've like since seen many times at other yarn things around, and she is, I think, like doing a little get together at one of the food truck stations. And so I don't know what dinner plans are, whatever night that is, but I'll always throw it out there as an option. I will have my car this year, so I have a little more freedom, I feel like, because I can leave if I need to for something. But yes, I'm really excited. I'm really sad that tomorrow, which there's actually 2 or 3 that are really good tomorrow that I'm gonna miss, and I could have probably taken the time off, but everybody else was not able to, and I didn't want to like have us have 3 or 4 cars down there when we just have 2 or 3. And I also just didn't want to drive all by myself. It's fine, but you know, not as fun. So I'll miss Jess from Witchfire Fibers, but I'm going to try to meet up with her later. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to go. I do not have plans, so we're going to see how that goes. What I do think I'll do is I'll probably pick out, I mean, my only plans are to look for some yarn for the gift knits I'm knitting this year. So I have 4 nieces and nephews. And 3 of them have picked out patterns. Actually, I should text the 4th mom. But 3 of them have picked out patterns and colors. And so I have things, I know yardage, I know what I need to look for. I'm kind of hopeful for like getting 1 or 2 of them, but I have like almost a perfect color already picked out for my niece's Traveler. And I don't think anywhere in Portland has it. It's just a Cascade color. But I don't know that anywhere is like, I looked on some like websites too before just to see like what was in stock for Cascade at the different stores. I didn't see it. That doesn't mean some places don't list all of their stock online. So I'm going to see. And if not, I'll just order it when I get home. But yeah, I have the 2 nieces, my nephew, and then my other niece. I just need to finalize the pattern with her mom. And my best friend, Sarah, also, I might, and she's a person I would buy hand dyed for. I need to talk to her though about like what she wants fiber wise, because I'm doing the poison apple top for her this year. Okay, that's my plans. That's it. Bye for other people. Will I likely come home with some sweater quantities for me? Yeah. Have you met me? Of course. Could I come home with no sweater quantities for me? Sure. That is a possibility. I was talking about it on the craft chat over the weekend that I am going to 4 in-person yarn events this year. And not that I didn't do 3 last year, but 4 is really going to like put me over the edge. So, and they're all spread out throughout the year. So it's also like you get in this safe zone of like, you think you're fine. And then whoops, you just exploded your stash. So I'm going to try to keep it light-ish on this beginning of the year. There's like a couple things like there's a couple like DKT quantities I would maybe want out of like summery blends. And I think like Treehouse is bringing I think they have a new silk sock, and I'm like, okay, maybe I want to do that. And I think it's a 50-50. I may be wrong. It might be an 80-20, but I'm going to touch some stuff. I'm going to see. The thing that's also on my mind is like potentially getting a couple of DK sweater weight quantities for like non-superwash yarns that I'd like to try, like Peace Fleece, like some other things that are like not hand dyed. Just because there's no sales tax there, and also like I feel like the Seattle area yarn stores don't carry quite as much of a variety. There's like a lot of Cascade here, which makes sense. We're in Washington, but yeah, I want some woolly things maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some, like a bunch of the trunk shows are also like dyers that have a lot of non-superwash bases. I'll let you know what I get when I get home. Hopefully I get some good stuff. I'm hoping for a couple of like good fun things, a couple surprises. I've always got a couple patterns in my back pocket, and my friends and I are not like rushing through the store. So if you're like, ooh, I love this like texture and feel of yarn, and then like people might give you ideas for patterns, or just like be searching on Ravelry, and I'll probably like tag a couple of Ravelry patterns I like, knowing that like DK is maybe the hunt. And like put some yardages just like in a note, so I also could just like go to it if I want to while we're out and about. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this part day early. It's just gonna be out a couple of hours early episode this week. I will hopefully have some good knitting progress. We're shopping so much, and I'm likely gonna be driving a lot, so I don't know like that it's going to be more yarn or time, like more actual knitting time than I normally have on a weekend. It's probably going to be less, really, but it's going to be like a lot of really excellent friend time, and I'm here for that. I'm so excited to hang out with everybody. We have a new friend coming. One of Emily's friends is joining us, and we got to meet her the other week, and she's super rad and totally fits in with us great. I don't know if she knows what she's in for shopping with us, because we just go. We have no off button. We could talk about yarn all day, every day, all of us. And so it's really fun. And yeah, I don't know what I'm wearing. Don't look for long hair if you see me. Now I got this little haircut. I'm going to probably have it up or something during the weekend. It's so hot in all these stores. But yes, if you see me, please say hello. I am not scary. Even if I'm with my friends, I want to say hi to you. I promise. Just like, you know, give me a side hi at least. Yeah, and I'll have stickers with me. So if you say hi to me, you'll get a sticker if you want one, which is so fun, of my logo. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to like, it's always like so fun to just connect with new people I don't know, but like the knitting community is the best community. And so I'm like, or the yarn community. Sorry, I do not mean to exclude any crocheters from this. I also crochet. But yes, just the yarn community. It's great. It's the best people. So fun to have a weekend like this, close by for us, but a little bit of a destination. Anyway, thank you for sticking with me tonight as I feel a little extra rambly. Please let me know what you're working on in the comments below. And always, if you want to join the Discord, please do. We've had a couple people join in the last like week or so, which is like so fun. Love to see some fresh faces over there. I always, or try to always do a Whip Wednesday post. People post about whatever they're working on. You can always share your finished objects, other trials, questions, other things. Somebody posted this week, like, please just tell me that this is right in like brioche increases. And I was like, dead on, this is correct. We're here for reassurances. We're just here for community. And also I love to read and respond to the comments below too. So, I hope that you had fun hanging out with me. I hope that you have a great knitting time. If you're going to be in Portland this weekend, please say hi to me if we run into each other. You know, we could be ships passing and never meet. And if you are interested in a food truck meetup on my Discord, Caitlin did post the information. So that's there if you're traveling in and you want to just meet with other knitters for like a little extra time. I may make an appearance. I can't promise because I really don't know. I'm at the whim of the house. But it was so nice chatting with you. And I hope that you move around, take care of your bodies, do some stretching for your arms and for your whole body. But I'm a big proponent of stretching, guys. Just flexibility for your life is important, but also stretch your hands, stretch your forearms, keep yourself healthy so you can keep on crafting. Now, I will talk to you next week. Have a good one.